What's up, everybody? This is Chris Abbott, and I am IGN's community manager.
And I'm Justin Michon. I'm a product designer here at IGN.
Justin, we're going to talk about Apple Music today.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. All right.
Music.
You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Let's do it.
Let's do a thing.
All right. Before you can get this, we do want to point out that you have to update your iPhone to
Yes.
iOS 8.4.
Yep.
When you do that, the traditional music app that you're familiar with already will change, and it will have Apple Music included in it.
Yep. So
So-
everything's been consolidated now into this one music app, and this is a system-wide update, not an App Store update. So if you're looking for this in the App Store, it's not Apple Music. This is a system-level go to settings update.
Now that that's out of the way, let's dive into the app.
Let's dive in.
When you open the app, you'll be taken to a screen where Apple wants you to tell them what type of music that you're into. So they give you a list of genres here.
Yeah, and this is very similar to how Beats worked before, where they would have a bunch of different genres, and you pick one. Tap once to like, tap twice to love, and hold to delete. And this kind of sets up your playlist, sets up who you're following as we go through this process. So pick a few here: rock, indie, hip hop, pop.
Where's my pop?
It's
Yeah, there it
right
is.
next to
All
rock.
right.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I'm all set.
That's good
all I
enough.
need.
Let's
Yeah,
listen next. So now that it has those four genres, it brings up artists related to those genres that you might like. So we have a few here that
Ooh,
we
Sonic.
can.
I'm good with all these.
Yeah, these are good. I mean, we should probably add Whitney Houston, but that's just me. I mean,
I'm super down for that.
okay, great.
Cool.
And
We're
then we go to
done.
the next, and then so this auto populates your feed as you see here with a bunch of different stuff. This is very similar to Spotify or Rdio in terms of giving the stuff that you're interested in, suggesting new stuff, recommending new artists, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So from there, I mean, let's talk about the customization process for
Okay.
this a little bit. As you mentioned, this is similar to something that Spotify or Rdio
Yes.
does. Whenever you want to like tap on a song, you can use the plus button to add it to your music.
Yep.
You can click the heart button.
Yep.
Love it. All that good stuff.
Yeah, and this all plays into your collection. So hitting the plus is a very simple way to add it to your collection that adds it to your library, sorted by artist and alphabetical and all that stuff. Just like traditional iTunes, it creates that for you already, which is really nice. It doesn't require you to go through a bunch of menus to add something to your library already, which is nice.
We can talk about the new tab. This is pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
This is just like new music that's come out. It's convenient that this came out on Tuesday. This is New
Yes.
Music Tuesday.
It is.
So it makes sense that the new tab has all of the week's new releases.
Yep. And this is, like I said, very similar to any other app. Got that hot new August Burns Red album.
I'm loving it.
So
I'm adding
good.
it to my music right
It's
now.
so good.
It is.
Best album to date, I would say.
Oh.
Either way, it's your way to find out all the new stuff, and that's pretty standard fare for a music app like this.
And of course, if you're looking for something that's not new, you can tap the magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner and go ahead and search Apple Music for whatever it is that you want to listen to. I'm going to do a search for Taylor Swift
Of course,
because that's what I always do when I go on
because
iTunes.
why wouldn't you? Taylor Swift's 1989 now on Apple's music service, the first time ever on a streaming service.
The Queen's come home.
She has come home. Come home to roost. Is that how they say it?
I
don't know
believe
what they
so,
say.
yeah.
That's
So
insane.
we should talk about the search page.
Mhm.
When you find it is what you're looking for, if you notice right below the search field,
Yep.
we've selected Apple Music right now. This is what Apple is serving us, what we can listen to, stream,
Yeah.
or if you have the My Music tab right below it as well.
Right. So this is stuff that's already been added to your library, stuff that you already have, and
Exactly.
Apple Music is more of searching the library of iTunes.
Yes. The radio tab, this is pretty interesting. Now, when this was announced, they talked a lot about Beats 1.
Yes.
Now, you've been
yes.
listening to that this morning, right?
I have. I got up super early this morning at 8 a.m. when this thing came out, mostly because I wanted to be one of the first to hop on and see what it's like, because I've been wanting to use Apple Music for a while now. So I hopped on and wanted to listen to the radio, which started at 9. And Beats One is their 24/7 radio station hosted by Zane Lowe of BBC, now of Beats One. And he's a great radio host, DJ, and he hosts this channel specifically. There will be other ones, like Pharrell has a channel that he's going to host. And there's, I think 8 or 9 different channels right now that are going to be on there. And he has interviews with artists. He plays new tracks, tries to highlight new artists, new albums, new trends, that kind of stuff, and talk about current events as well. And it's very exciting to hear because with something like Pandora, you're used to just putting on a station and having it go with no breaks or ad breaks or whatever. And this adds personality, adds heart to
Some
the
flavor
station.
to it.
Yeah, and I likened it, I think on Twitter earlier, to being able to turn on the TV and have something be on already.
Mm-hmm.
When you turn this on, you're not starting the song from the beginning. You're starting it from wherever it was at that point.
I mean, I think we should jump in right
Yeah,
now.
let's
just to show
jump in
everybody.
and see what's playing. Kendrick Lamar, all right.
We gonna be all right.
What a great way to jump in.
Oh, so
with
good.
a little Kendrick Lamar.
So good.
One of the greatest albums of the past, I would say 5 to 10 years.
I'm gonna say it's the best rap record since the Blueprint, but
Damn.
that's just me.
That is high praise.
Yep.
Either way, radio is really interesting. I'm very curious to see where it goes, and it's off to a pretty good start. Even if you're not into more popular music, it's going to try and serve up everyone's interests in the long run.
Let's talk about Connect a little bit.
Okay.
So this allows you to find bands that you're super interested in.
Yep.
You can follow them, and from that point, Apple will serve you information about these bands.
Right.
So this could be anything from like a new release that they have coming out. Maybe they drop an exclusive track on Apple Music just to like get you hyped for the record. Maybe it's concert dates that you can use to buy tickets to go see a show in your area.
Yep.
What are some other things that Apple will be doing with Connect?
Yeah, I think that covers a good amount of it. It's really a way for them to connect you to the artists, and make it feel like more of a one-way street, or not a one-way street, a two-way street between you and the artists. You're interacting with them, they're interacting with you, they're sharing new videos, behind the scenes stuff, behind the scenes at this concert or at this tour, stuff that you wouldn't get on a Spotify or an Rdio that sets Apple Music apart. And like you said, I think Drake is debuting his new album with Apple Music. Like Drake or not, it's still a cool thing to.
I love Drake.
I also a fan. But it's cool that they have this exclusive section where their artists can kind of live and thrive and interact with the community.
And last but not least, we want to just highlight My Music again. This should be super familiar to you.
Yep.
Library is already highlighted. So this is every piece of content that you've got in your music library.
Right.
This could be anything that you've saved to your phone from Apple Music.
Yes.
This could be anything that you've transferred to your phone via iTunes Match or iTunes on your Mac or PC.
Yep.
And yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Familiar controls all the way over to the right once you find an artist that you like.
Yep.
You can create a radio station based on that artist, remove it from your music, make songs available offline. You can share the artist with your friends or social media.
Exactly. It's all very, very similar stuff. A lot of, the stuff in Apple Music is shared between, this and Spotify and Rdio. They share a lot of the same similarities, which is nice. And what's also really nice about Apple Music is that it's an ecosystem that you already know. You know iOS, you know iTunes, you know how it works. So you're not having to learn a new app. You're not having to learn a new ecosystem to jump into this. So I think for a lot of new people who haven't used a music streaming service before, this is going to be super easy to jump into and really get a hang of it.
And last but not least, the actual player itself. They've made some slight adjustments, I think. It
Yeah,
still looks pretty familiar to
looks
what
a
you
lot
and
like
I are used to.
iTunes. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've added the love button right there.
Yep.
And in the lower left-hand corner, there's still the sharing options. Yep.
Yeah.
So this is it feels very familiar. So
Right.
you kind of go into this knowing how to use it a little bit already.
Right. Any positive negatives you want to talk about as you've been using it?
No, man, I've talked to you about this earlier, and you kind of hyped me up to use it, and I've been using it throughout the day. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I have already canceled my Spotify subscription. I'm ready to embrace Apple Music, even though it's free for these first 3 months, which gives you a good window to test it out. But yeah, it's pretty great so far. There's some stuff that is missing, some small stuff, like there's no related artists that I can see right now. There's no option for changing music quality, which some people probably find annoying. Like no recently played, but that stuff is pretty small. In comparison to the overall experience, which I think is pretty solid. Also, the desktop app was not live before the recording. It is now live, so you can get this on regular
your
iTunes.
Mac or PC.
Yep, so it's not just on phones anymore. And that is live. Also, something that I didn't realize before, there is actually an EQ, an equalizer for music, but it's in your settings. It's not in the Apple Music app itself. Yeah,
that's
so
helpful.
hot tips. As usual from
Hot Tips for Sean.
That's me. That's what they call me.
Love them.
All right.
All right, guys. What do you think of Apple Music? Let us know in the comments. Tell us if you're going to cancel any Spotify subscription, any Rdio subscription, or Google Music. Let us know.
Rhapsody.
Rhapsody, yeah. let us know what you think. And for IGN, I am Chris Abbott.
I'm Justin Bichon.
And you're already in the right place for everything Apple Music. IGN.